guys, Alexi here with the Remax Performance and Alcoa Mortgage, and here I got Peter Denbigh with Harrisonburg Innovation Hub.
That's right.
Now, but he's been a serial entrepreneur, anywhere from games that have been all over US to now he does co-working spaces.
We like innovation.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Peter.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
You covered it pretty well. So I've been in the small business scene since I was strong enough to push a lawnmower in rural West Virginia, and came to Harrisonburg for JMU and loved the program. And I think I've only had a real official job for about 1.5 to 2 years of my life, when our son was born and we needed real health insurance. But it was a good job with JMU. And beyond that, it's been a roller coaster ride of an entrepreneurial journey of exploring interesting problems and solving them and building projects along the way.
Awesome. You grew up in small town West Virginia.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And what made you come to JMU when you?
I really came to JMU for the ISAT program, Integrated Science and Technology. It's an amazing program. I describe it as a liberal arts education in science and technology. They really focus on a multidisciplinary approach to problem solving. And it appealed to an ADHD brain that was always looking for getting their hands dirty and doing it from many different angles.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then you got a master's here, is that
I did,
correct?
yeah. I also got an MBA from JMU.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. Was that around the time when you came up with the idea to do the co-working spaces? Or?
Oh, no, that came much later. That came much later. The co-working spaces came much later.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, tell us, I want to start with the watch your mouth game.
That's right.
That seems like the thing I really do want to touch on.
Sure.
How did you come up with the idea? How did you take it from, just an idea to actually implementing it? Because a lot of people have a lot of good ideas,
right?
Just never implement it.
That's interesting. So the idea came at an interesting moment. At the time, I was kind of studying. I do a lot of personal development. I'm always trying to figure out what I need to do better and where the edge is. And I was really focused on the speed of execution because, like you said, and there are ideas everywhere, but I posit that an idea doesn't have a lot of value until it's executed really fast and thoroughly. There are ideas everywhere, but the only ones that people actually will pay you for are the ones they know about. And so I was watching some videos, and it had people using this mouthpiece to talk, and it was really funny. I was like, man, I bet I could turn that into a game, like an actual physical game where I put one in and I say something ridiculous and you have to figure out what I say. Right. And leading up to this, I'd had 1 or 2 failed Kickstarter campaigns already that I had learned a lot through the process of, but they crashed and burned. And
when you say a couple, sir, how many is that?
I think that it's 1 or 2.
One or two.
Yeah,
okay.
It was 1 or 2. Yeah. And so the idea paired with the goal of executing quickly, I said, well, how quickly could I take this silly idea and get it on Kickstarter? I'm just curious. And so it turns out it was 2 weeks.
Wow.
And so I used a USPS flat rate shipping box with some red vinyl on it as my box. I went to 99 Designs and got a couple graphics put together. I used a online business card company to print off a bunch of business cards that look like playing cards so I could spread them out, and got it up on Kickstarter. And really it's an example of when the timing is right. Because there was that campaign went viral in part by itself, in part because we were right at the front edge of this trend of these mouthpieces.
Right.
And so there again, an idea is only worth what you can execute on. So it went viral, and the whole point of getting it on Kickstarter at the time for me was so that we could be a part of what was called Amazon Launchpad, and it was this inroad to Amazon that gave you a bunch of nice marketing assets and a dedicated account rep, so that you could theoretically compete with the likes of, in our case, Hasbro or Spin Master.
Because they started right at the same time.
That's right.
Or some of that,
it was very early on in there.
And they claimed Walmart and another distributor, and you got Amazon and Target. Is that right?
Yeah. So that's a different story. Hasbro launched a competing product the day our Kickstarter campaign ended. They issued a press release announcing their intention to make a product called Speak Out. Wow. That it was an exact copy of what we had. Turns out the toy and game industry is cutthroat. I had no idea how brutal it was. But so there again, Alexi, that's the power of execution. So we went full steam ahead with this. Amazon calls us and they said, hey guys, this is so-and-so from Amazon Launchpad. What are you guys doing so well on your product? Because we have a lot of orders. This is one of the fastest selling Launchpad products we've ever had. And we need to turn off your buy box because we don't think you can fulfill all these orders. Wow. And as an entrepreneur that's trying to crush it and execute, we're like, no, don't do that. That is the last thing we want you to do. I said, give me 3 days. This was, I think they called us on a Friday or Saturday. Like, give me 3 days. Let me figure something out. So we hustled and pulled some all-nighters and figured out a plan that they were cool with. But we just kept pushing on Amazon really, really hard. And then through a licensing partner, we were approaching Target as well. So Hasbro announced their intention to make a product because they saw how viral it went. Right. And they're like, oh, we want some of that. Of course. And Hasbro has a good relationship with Walmart. So despite everything we tried, Walmart was like, you're small peanuts. They're not great to the little guys. And so they went with what they thought was a sure thing with Hasbro. Target at the time also canceled our PO because they're like, oh, Hasbro is going to do something. We'll just go with Hasbro. That's the safer bet. Well, it turns out we executed better. We spun up more factories. We got more boxes in the air, more tractor trailer loads coming our way. And when it came time for crunch season for Target, Hasbro couldn't fulfill for them. Really? So they came back to us and they're like, hey guys, remember us? Nice. Do you have enough games for us? And the answer is always yes. Whether you do or not, the answer is yes, and then you figure it out. And so figured it out and made a trip to China. We did get these manufactured in China. Okay. We had one factory in the United States. We tried really hard to get them made domestically. The price, the quality, and the timing just was better in China. And so that's what we had to do. We've since moved to some other manufacturing and pulled away from China a little bit. Gotcha. But at the time when you needed truckloads of them, it's what you had to do. Right, that makes sense. How many have you sold? We're a little over 3 million units around the world. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the product is still online, right? It is still online. Yep, sure is. So it's a really interesting story. It was, we had an amazing team. Our first hire was a customer service person who just, it turns out, happened to know a lot about Amazon fulfillment. And she was also a very quick learner, and she was instrumental to our business. And we just worked really hard and executed constantly and made something happen. That's what you have to do to make something happen. That's right. That's really cool. Talk to me a little bit more about Amazon Launchpad, because I think you became a board member. Yeah, so that's right, yep. So they did ask me to join their board for a couple years and just provide the perspective of this small town business, because that was their target market. And that was really cool because you get to go out to Seattle, you get to go to Amazon headquarters, you get to meet with the people and meet with some really interesting, powerful people there, and just hear the way they think and they operate. And at the time, it was really magical. They really had something special with Amazon Launchpad going, and it was great to be able to have input into what life is like in a day in the life of 1 to 3 to 4 person business
Right.
that they don't have touch with. They understand Hasbro, and that's important. But they don't. To this day they still haven't really understood what we go through as small business owners to put food on the table. So it was my chance to have as much sway as I could and a little bit of impact there at the time. Now, and sadly, that program has gone away with Amazon.
Yeah, because I never heard of it before.
Right.
Like, what is that?
It has gone away, and that's it. But Amazon iterates a lot, and there used to be some elements of it still in play, but I think they're pretty much gone now.
Gotcha. And the whole program was just pretty much to give an option for startups to start selling their products.
At the time, you had to be a product of a successful crowdfunding campaign or of a venture capital type launch, not something that's farmed like a spinoff of a big company or something like that.
That makes sense. And where are you running that business venture from?
Here. Yeah, so what was really interesting is we did get products made overseas, but they all got shipped to Vector Industries in Waynesboro, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a fantastic operation that helps folks have good jobs. They did all of our fulfillment for us, and so they fulfilled the products that went all over the country. And then we operated, at the time, my office was in Staunton, Virginia, and so we operated out of there.
Was that like out of your basement, pretty much, like a startup?
It literally started in our house. Delivering I have a pickup truck because I'm a West Virginia boy.
There you go.
Delivering pickup trucks full of games to the post office every day and whatnot. So it did start there, and then we grew. Like you had to executing is not just doing the work. It's like thinking about how do you scale and how do you do the next thing and how do you make how do you build force multipliers into your business and into your life. And so it was very much about that problem solving background of, all right, I have a problem, and that is I can't fit any more games in my garage. Where do we go now? And a friend of mine happened to have a big building that we used for a couple weeks, outgrew that, then brought Vector Industries on, helped them learn how to fulfill. We taught them how to do Amazon fulfillment, which then gave them opportunities to do Amazon fulfillment for other people, which was great. And it's just like, it was just this constant orchestration of moving pieces, and how do you just keep going with it? It's a fad product, and so I knew that we had a window of opportunity to make the most of it. And that fad has fallen off in a big way now. It's just a very small part of what we do. But we had to make the most of it when it was there. You had to make hay when the sun shines.
Right, of course, and you captured.
Yeah, we tried.
I think you did. I think you're being honest. I think you really did. Well, so speaking of Staunton, your first hub you started in Staunton.
That's right.
Talk to me about that. How did that idea came about?
That idea came about, so I've always been involved with the small business scene wherever I've lived. So I lived in Harrisonburg from when I came to school in '98 until like 2002, 03. Then moved to Staunton for a little bit, and now moved back to Harrisonburg. And every place I've been involved with the small business development centers, the economic development groups, whatever it is. I love small business and I love helping people. And so with that's a long build up to how this started. So in Staunton, I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but it must have been like 03 or 04, there was a event called Bright Rewired, and it was basically a business pitch competition. And I sat there, it was coordinated by what is now the Shenandoah Community Capital Fund, SCCF, a great group that helps support businesses. And I was sitting there in the audience just listening to some of the ideas that were happening. And I was blown away by these great ideas that seemingly came out of the woodwork in Staunton. It's like, wow, this is happening in Staunton. This is really cool. It's a cool town. Now there are cool ideas. This is great. And so I was thinking, what do these people need? So I had been through some stuff with business. The game had not yet really launched at this point, but I'd been down that entrepreneurial roller coaster. And I was thinking, man, it would be really cool if like this person was here and this person was here, and we had the SCCF and at the time the makerspace and all this under one roof. And what would it look like if you got all these smart people under one roof and just let them do their thing? And that's where it was born.
That's awesome.
And so I started researching, I started talking about it. A mentor at the time, Joe Springle, he was with Mary Baldwin. He said, hey, I know something like this down in the Research Triangle down in North Carolina. At the time, it was called HQ Raleigh. Would you like to go? I know the people that run it. Would you like to go see it? And I said, hell yeah. And so we went and saw it, and they were very gracious and showed us like their whole operation. It was very inspirational. I was like, this is what Staunton needs. I had no idea that it was crazy to put a 30,000 square foot operation in a town of 25,000 people. But we started a little bit small. We saw a lot of energy about it. And I don't know, just something, a gut instinct said, I think this can work in Staunton. There's some magic here that this can work with. And so we did. And put together the team and put together the capital and bought the small building and renovated it and kind of tested, validated the idea, and it was going fine. And so we went into the big building, 11 North Central, the former Newsleader building, and it was a to the studs renovation of 25,000 square feet. And it was my first real commercial project and real renovation. So it's a little bit of drinking from the fire hose. And then and when I say we have a team of people, we slowly assembled teams of good people that make this thing happen. And we ended up opening Staunton right in the middle of the pandemic.
I was going to ask you that,
And
right here, yeah.
That was hard. That was hard. So I mean, I remember so many late nights there working because the contractor that was working on it kept getting pulled to Merck to do important work at Merck.
Oh, I see.
And so our project was really delayed, so I started getting in there and just doing it myself. And I terminated over 1,000 network wires by myself. You know, just all these little details, lighting and all this stuff just had to get done for us to open. I can remember sitting in there like, this is terrifying. Like, this is going to absolutely tank me because we're building a space designed for people to be together in.
Right.
And the government is literally saying, don't be together.
Yep.
What are we going to do? So we pivoted. At this time, we had the small building going. Amy, our community manager, and had the great idea of saying, hey, let's just do this virtually as best we can. And so we started having virtual coffee hours and virtual lunch and learns, things like that, because people still craved the interaction. They just weren't allowed to physically be here. And so we did all we can to maintain the community, and to our membership community's massive credit, a lot of people, in fact, the majority of our members kept paying their membership even though they weren't allowed to come in, and that is what kept us afloat. Had they evaporated like most co-working spaces did, we would have shuttered like most co-working spaces did. But we have an amazing community, as you've experienced in some of this place.
I am a member. So
nice.
Yes, sir.
They helped keep us alive, and we managed to get the big building open. And then it turns out people wanted private offices because it was still safe for COVID. Yeah. And so we went to great lengths to keep the place as clean as we could, to practice social distancing and really respect it. And our members came in and went to their private offices and did their thing and wore their masks when they came out and got their coffee. And I think it was good for a lot of people's mental health, it turns out, that they had someplace to go. It took us a lot longer to build up our co-working members, like our floating hot desk members, because that was the thing. That was like the anti-COVID thing. So that took a while to recover from. So that was terrifying, but it worked. And you know, you just got to execute. It's like, well, we cannot control the virus. We cannot control what the government's saying. We want our members to be healthy. What we're going to do as best we can is open this place up and be a home for those that choose to be here. Obviously not forced to be here.
Right.
And if you so choose to be here, then we welcome you here. And you know, we still have some members in Staunton that joined us on day one.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
And they're still there and growing and doing their thing. So it's fantastic.
That's really cool. You mentioned that you put a team around you.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that, because I think you're a big proponent of not what but who.
Right. Who, not how.
Who, not how.
That's right.
I butchered that, but
that's okay. So I had the fortunate experience of being involved with a group called Strategic Coach for many years. And two of the things they taught me early on is you have to know what your unique ability is. It's the thing that comes easy to you, that other people look at you and say, how did he do that? And it gives you energy, it wakes you up at night or in the morning to like get going. And that's other people call it your zone of genius. It's like that's the area that in so much as possible you want to operate on. Now, that's utopia. You don't always operate there. Like the other day I was assembling furniture, it still happens. But that's where you try to operate. And then you find people that can help you with the areas where you are weaker. And a lot of entrepreneurs think, hey, I want to start a business. How do I do this thing? And how do I do that thing? And how do I do this thing? And the reframe is, who can help me with this thing? And who can help me with this thing? And who can help me with this thing? And so I work very hard to build and support and encourage a team that fills in my blank spots.
Give me a most recent example.
Sure. Waynesboro. We're opening up a location in Waynesboro.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not good at interior design. I'm good at like the vibe, but I'm like, don't ask me to pick colors or anything like that. And I'm okay at sales, but it's not something that wakes me up in the morning. And so we have a team member, her name's Hannah Cooper, she's our director actually, who's outstanding at interior design and outstanding at sales. And so she has taken on the bulk of managing that project, of spinning that project up. And we are 30 days away and we're already like 60% pre-leased.
Wow.
The design of it it's pound for pound. It's going to be one of the coolest places we have, which is saying a lot, if I do say so myself.
No, you're right, because you have really nice design here at Harrisonburg. Well, I love it.
She did Harrisonburg too. So, and so she's a great example of, had I been tasked with doing all that stuff, it would have all been gray, and we would have had a lot of fun meetings, but I probably would have never asked for the close, Right. And all of our community managers are awesome. We have Amy and Betsy Joy as community managers, and they are both just fantastic at nurturing our community, hosting events, seeing what people need. I have an operations manager that his name is Chad, that when I tried for a long time to get really good financial management in these companies and never succeeded, despite even having a partner. And Chad is the first person that's really brought great financial management to this place. We have budgets that we follow and like check-ins every week on this budget or every 2 weeks on the budget. And it's just amazing. So it's all these things that once I finally had the courage to release control of, which took some work, that building that trust, it's been really good. And I still hang on to too much. And we are a small team that is capital constrained, and like we wish we could do more. I wish I had 3-4 more people on our team, but we don't. So we all wear a lot of hats. That's why I say it's utopia that you just surround yourself with this. But if you can kind of have that common denominator thought process and philosophy, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll mention is, in that philosophy of who, not how, is you find people that love the things you dread. And that, to this day, boggles my mind. So it's, but it's beautiful. And it turns out I love things that other people dread.
Right.
So.
Tell me about Waynesboro. So do you guys have official launch date?
Yeah, see, it's December 15th now. We're under 30 days away. From
January 15th.
I'm sorry, it's January.
I was like, hold on.
I'm also not good at schedules, turns out. So I have people on our team that are very good at schedules.
There you go.
So yeah, it's January 15th. We're under 30 days away from opening.
Perfect.
And I wish I had like a hard date, but there are a couple variables with inspections and stuff that we just don't want to overcommit.
Yeah.
But the folks that have pre-leased with us are, they're gearing up to start moving in. The floor is being finished right now. It's very cool. Carpets down, paints on the walls. We're starting to get our technology put in.
Man.
Tomorrow is Friday. We're moving a bunch of furniture in, that sort of thing. So we're getting super close. We're like 3 to 4 weeks away.
That is awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. What are you guys' plans for the future? I know you just finished the project, but you already probably thought about what.
No, my team hates me when we're halfway through a project. I'm like, and what's next is this.
There you go.
They hate me and love me, I guess. It's a love-hate. It's endearing, but we want to keep growing. We really do, and there are a lot of amazing towns close to us that can use what we bring to the economic development scene. I mean, these hubs are economic development engines. There are, when Harrisonburg has been open just about a year, and we only have like 5 offices left out of 55. And when Harrisonburg is up to full capacity, there'll be like 150 companies that call this place home.
Right.
And that comes to downtown, and these people shop downtown and they eat downtown, and being a good neighbor of downtown is very important to me. And there are a lot of towns and cities up and down 81 and throughout Virginia that would be great opportunities for us, and we would be great opportunities for them. And so we do hope to keep growing and finding the right partnerships, the right teams, the right who's to help us move into these places. And then we're really starting to see this network effect where with 3 locations, this is the trifecta of innovation in the Shenandoah Valley now. And it's we're going to be able to stretch and have events that are multicast and all that, and just starting to step into just the very early stages of what the scale can look like, which translates to the impact we can have on our members and the region.
No, absolutely. I mean, the reason why I joined, quite frankly, is because, as a real estate agent, sometimes I have to hold a meeting in Harrisonburg, sometimes I have to go down to Staunton, sometimes I have to be in Wadsboro. So it's like, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like, I can tell people show up to my office, not like a random coffee shop.
Right.
Where I don't know if I'll have a spot inside, so I'll be sweating outside.
Here's a nice conference room that, here, have some coffee.
Very professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice layout, they walk in and, they feel it, so.
Absolutely.
So, imagine you're back when you're 20.
Oh boy.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So, to an aspiring entrepreneur, what would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself? Believe in yourself. Like, I've always struggled with this self-value, self-worth thing. And I've always had this voice in my head that says, well, I'll be successful when, or I'll get this thing when, or, in a few years, I'll deserve this thing. And I think that's been the biggest thing that's held me back. It's just not, like, I believe in my abilities, but I don't believe in where I am right now. And so I'm just very, very future-oriented, and I never think that I'm ready until some other point in the future. And I think that's really, that's what I would tell myself, is you're ready right now. Like, work faster, think bigger, than, don't put these guardrails on yourself. Just go.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just go. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I'll put in the link below all of the, everything for the hub.
Okay. So I'll
include that in, and a way for you to find Peter on social media as well.
Awesome.
And this was Alexi with Remax Performance.
Alexi, thank you so much. Great chatting with you.
Thanks
for everything you're doing as well.